Now, you are the president and head of Modern Uprising Studio. What is the pitch of your studio, and how will you create stories from the tech that you promote?
Well, when we launched the company as Modern Uprising Studios, we created an event called the Frame Forward AI Film Festival. And we worked in partnership with Screen Vision, who took this and brought it into about 45% of the movie theaters around the United States as part of their opening to the beginning of films, otherwise the trailers. And the idea was to create a showcase by which filmmakers or creatives can just submit their content into the Frame Forward Festival. And, we had a really great lineup of judges and jurists who would pick what they thought was the best. And ultimately, we had a winner. The idea for us was to discover new talent, much like I described in my earlier conversation, Patrick. We feel that there are a lot of opportunities out there to discover the latest, hottest, or perhaps smartest and newest creatives out there. And for us, Frame Forward was an opportunity to do that. Our business has grown considerably. And right now, we are working on, we have a proprietary spatial computing engine that was developed by our parent Toro Science. So what we're doing is we're able to take content to be able to create a highly immersive experience, and we're commercializing it for entertainment. So we're going to be opening up our first immersive studio, our first immersive screening room in the New York area. I'll be announcing that shortly in the next 6 to 9 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, cinema and exhibition is approximately 130 years old, but has survived talking pictures, color, television, spatial adjustments, and VHS DVD. From all indications, streaming is perhaps the greatest challenge, with AI coming in on its coattails. What is your assessment of the future of cinema and exhibition vis-a-vis this latest challenge?
Well, we're pretty excited about the future of it because we believe that the cinematic experience from the moviegoer's perspective is that of an immersive opportunity to be able to experience something that surrounds them, both with visuals and with sound. Look, at the end of the day, people like to go out, they like to socialize, and I think if theaters are able to maintain an environment and an experience that's enjoyable and it's not dirty, and people start putting their phones away, and there's always an opportunity with good quality content to be able to draw them into the theaters. I don't think it's ever going to stop. Yes, the Netflix of the world are great in that they have the funds to be able to create new content, and their goal is to continue to do that. And I don't see it changing very much. I think that theaters will always be there. There's a lot of economics that are involved with it. I think a lot of theater chains borrowed heavily to be able to build out, and then the pandemic hit, and they're still reeling from that. But we are not always going to be spending our entire time watching entertainment at home, Patrick. I think that it's something that, as long as there's good quality content that will draw people out, I think you'll see them out in the movie theaters.
Just to get everyone up to date, Ben Affleck's AI company, Interpositive, was just acquired by Netflix. What exactly does Interpositive do in the AI realm, and how do you think Netflix will evolve it?
There's a couple answers to that, Patrick. I've not obviously spent much time with Interpositive, but as I understand it, their tools are focused on post, not generative filmmaking for the most part. I mean, they really will take existing footage and fix lighting inconsistencies, repair missing shots, and adjust the visual effects and the backgrounds. But their goal, as I understand it, and from what I've read, is to maintain editorial continuity and cinematic logic in general terms. That's how I understand it, and that's pretty much it.
Do you anticipate how Netflix will evolve it at all, or is it just going to be expanding what they do, or whatever?
Well, I think they'll continue, obviously, to do the business they do, but like every company, they're looking for efficiencies. And I
Right.
think that this offers it to them. I think it provides them with an opportunity to work with someone like Ben as well. I mean,
Sure.
let's look at it that way. I personally have worked with Ben Affleck. I worked on 2 of his movies. I worked on Good Will Hunting, and I worked on
Mhm.
Dogma back in the
Sure.
late 90s. Great guy, smart guy, and obviously this is a great acquisition from his perspective as well. So I think, you know, the from the standpoint of what Netflix can ultimately get from this, it really probably boils down to more efficiency. And since they're one of the biggest producers in Hollywood, everybody's looking for that all the time.
Very good. So the amazing element of AI is its rapid growth since the turn of this decade. As we are figuring out ways to use it, what do you see as the positives and the type of use that companies like Interpositive are touting?
Hollywood is a business with a pretty big and fat velvet rope, and it's very difficult for people to get beyond that. And I talk about
Okay.
people, I talk about people that aspire to create content. And I think
Mhm.
what AI in general has done is it's provided an opportunity for people who otherwise wouldn't have their product have their content made because of the cost and showcase it. Is there a lot of stuff out there that shouldn't be showcased? Absolutely. But there's a lot of people out there that never get an opportunity to have their um, creative vision seen because they simply don't have the tools. So
Right.
I think that as we go down this road, and that's one of the reasons why our company exists,
Mhm.
taking advantage of the tools out there, the people that are behind it, and the people that are, taking what they've got in their head and putting it into the hands of an AI tool. We're going to discover hopefully the next James Cameron or
Right.
Scorsese or
Right.
someone like that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an extremely exciting part of the growth, like any business and any industry, and it can only enhance what we eventually see. And along the way, there's just going to be a lot of things that people don't want to see, or they think it's, they're going to be some pushback. There's going to be the people that are entrenched in the way they've done their business might feel threatened. So therefore, you get a lot of noise into the marketplace as well.
So I'm going to do a couple of background questions for you. What 3 films off the top of your head are the most influential or inspiring in your developmental youth, and how did they figure in what became your career?
Well,
And
it's funny you should say that. I stumbled into the movie business in Canada, where I'm originally from.
okay,
I was working for an advertising agency way back, and there was a new television network coming into Canada, which was the Canadian version of HBO. And
okay,
I went to my boss at the agency and I said, this whole pay TV thing looks really interesting. We should go and pitch the account. And I went and I pitched the account, and we didn't win it because our agency was too small, but the television network offered me a job,
nice.
and I ended up working for it, became one of the largest pay television networks in Canada. I spent a
Wow,
few years there, and then we were bought by another company, and then I got into the production services business, and I ended up getting my green card, which is something that's very difficult to get in Canada
interesting.
for someone who's in the film business. And I heard about this company in New York. There was about 35 or 40 employees, and I applied for a job, and I got a job. I was hired at Miramax Films. I was like I guess about the 40th or 45th employee there. And the
Wow.
company just was at the very beginning of the independent film world with sexualized videotape and that sort of thing. And I stayed there
Uh-huh.
on and off for about 10 years and worked on everything from Pulp Fiction to I mean, just it's so many films I've almost forgotten, right through to Dogma that I mentioned
Sure,
earlier.
sure.
And during that period of time, Reservoir Dogs was a film that I worked on from the standpoint of distribution. I thought that was a great film.
Yeah,
2 or 3 of my other favorite films. One of those, The King of Comedy, a Martin Scorsese film with Robert
love
De
that
Niro,
movie.
one of the top films. And for me, a measure of what's a great film is where you can turn it on at any point and just watch it from that point. And it's usually something like a Goodfellas
Right.
or even an old The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So
Awesome.
I have a wide range of tastes, and I think anything that entertains is what I'm interested in.
Okay, so you mentioned this, the show business was under your auspice at your time at Miramax. Because of the company's reputation as an independent juggernaut, what strategies proved most effective for growth when you were participating in the nuts and bolts of marketing, licensing, and sponsorship and sales? As it's on your bio.
Good question, and I've been asked that before by people that are looking for jobs in the business and that sort of thing. You know, I think we were really good at being able to create word of mouth.
Okay.
Nothing sells a movie better than someone walking at it and telling their friends what a great movie they saw and they should go see it. And when we were doing that, because we were at the time when I joined Miramax, we were not owned by Disney. We were purchased while I was there. We had very small budgets, if budgets at all. And we had to do everything possible to get the word of mouth out there. So we would do tactics like films that we knew had good word of mouth because we had tested it, we'd done market research. We would open it in a very limited release, so people couldn't buy tickets, therefore causing word of mouth. We did that quite a number of times. It was quite successful. You would take something that you knew was going to get a pretty good idea was going to get good reviews, and you put it into a theater. It would sell out, and people say, I couldn't get a go, I couldn't go, and then you would slowly expand it into more theaters in that marketplace or into other cities like Chicago. And from there, you know, it would continue to snowball. So that was one of probably our best features. And of course, at the same time, having the contribution from the talent as well to be able to go into the field, go into the media, talk to people like yourself, talk about what the film is about was really important to us as well. We did not have the big budgets at the time, so we had to be extremely grassroots. You know, I remember us doing things like if we had a love story, for example, and it's just an example, we would go stand outside of movie theaters where other love stories were playing and just go up to people and say, hey, have you heard about this new movie? And just hand them little cards saying,
amazing,
this film's coming out. I mean, that's real grassroots stuff. But
there
it
you
worked,
go.
You know? Yeah.
That's great stuff. So I don't know if you want me to bring this up, but one of your producer roles was on the reboot of the Porky's series in 2009. Since there were 2 decades between Porky's Revenge and Pimpin' Pee-wee, what was the impetus to bring the series back, and what were the behind-the-scenes machinations to make sure you got it right, quote unquote?
All right, so you brought it up, Patrick. No one's ever brought it up. And my wife doesn't want me to talk about that.
Okay.
No, I'll speak to that. At the time, that was quite some time ago. There were a lot of we could call them youth movies. I think you couldn't make that movie today at all. It's just not the type of topic that anybody would make. And we had originally done a deal with Howard Stern to call it Howard Stern's Porky's.
Oh, wow.
And there's a big history to this one, and I don't want to bore your listeners to it, but it is, if Google would find out that basically what ended up happening was that we had the rights. It ended up being a legal issue with one of the studios that claimed they had it. Went through about a 6 to 8 month, even longer period of time. I'm trying to remember. And we had to make a movie in order for the rights to be extended. So my partners at the time, we did a straight to video version of it. I can be honest with you, would recommend no one watch this movie. It's funny that I would say that. It was made solely to extend the rights, and I think it's be hard to find it. But at one point, it was a great idea. Howard Stern's Porky's would have made a lot of sense.
It would have been, yeah.
And he was all in, and then this, you know, Hollywood's a messed up business, and you know, a lot of hands come out of the ground saying, I want a piece of it. But you know, it was made.
I like the hands coming out of the ground thing. That's
yeah.
So final question. What was your most amazing visual scenario you've witnessed that AI was able to create, and why was it such a game changer for you?
I don't think I've seen it yet.
Oh, interesting.
I think that there's an amazing amount of great content out there. right now, and I think it's going to continue to grow. The advancements are moving so quickly that even, you know, last week there was another iteration of banana is quite good. I think that at the end of the day, we have not seen where it can go, and when someone shows it to me, I'll let you know.
This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2026.